Desai Carrington's social media is in hot water after she was caught celebrating Caitlin Clark's brutal eye poke. Is this behavior crossing the line, or is there more to it? The WNBA playoffs are always a high-stakes affair, but Game 1 of the first-round matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun has become the center of one of the most controversial moments in recent women's basketball history. The incident involving Connecticut Sun star Desai Carrington and Indiana Fever rookie Caitlin Clark has sparked a whirlwind of debate among fans, players, and analysts alike. It all began with a routine play. Clark, who has been hailed as a generational talent and is often referred to as the Michael Jordan of the WNBA, was attempting to pass the ball when Carrington's hand made contact with her face, poking her in the eye. The result was a visibly injured Clark, who spent the rest of the game playing with a black eye. Clark's numbers were significantly below her usual performance. She finished with 11 points on 4 of 17 shooting, adding 4 rebounds and 8 assists. Many attribute her struggles to the injury sustained from Carrington's eye poke. At first, many fans believed that the incident was a mere accident. After all, basketball is a fast-paced physical game, and accidents do happen. However, as footage of the event started circulating online, questions began to emerge about Carrington's intentions. Some fans pointed out that from certain angles, the poke seemed deliberate. The fact that Carrington didn't immediately show any signs of concern for Clark only added to the growing suspicion. But the real firestorm started when more footage surfaced. Video from the Suns bench showed Carrington laughing and joking with her teammates shortly after the eye poke. While it's unclear exactly what they were discussing, the timing of the laughter led many to believe that they were celebrating the injury. This clip quickly went viral, and fans of Caitlin Clark were outraged. The reaction online was swift and harsh, with many accusing Carrington of unsportsmanlike behavior. Then, things took a darker turn. Carrington's social media history came into focus, and it didn't paint a pretty picture. Several of her past tweets began to resurface, including one in which she retweeted a post that read, "Imagine not being black. Wow." This, along with other tweets that seemed to have racially charged undertones, fueled accusations that the eye poke wasn't just a moment of poor sportsmanship, but potentially racially motivated. Sports analysts were quick to weigh in on the controversy. Jason Whitlock, a prominent NBA commentator, was particularly vocal in his criticism of Carrington. On his YouTube channel, Whitlock referred to the incident as an assault and called for the WNBA to take action. He even went so far as to demand that Carrington be suspended for Game 2 of the playoff series, saying, "The Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted, has a black eye during the second half of the game because Desai Carrington stabbed her with her fingernails in the eye." Whitlock's comments added fuel to the already raging fire. Fans who were already angry about the eye poke and Carrington's reaction after the incident now had even more reason to demand punishment. The idea that Caitlin Clark, one of the biggest stars in women's basketball, could be treated this way without consequence was unacceptable to many. The pressure on the WNBA to respond was mounting, but the league remained silent. As days passed, fans grew more frustrated with the lack of any official statement or disciplinary action. This silence was particularly frustrating to those who believed that Carrington's behavior wasn't just a one-off incident, but part of a larger pattern of disrespect toward Clark. And the history between Carrington and Clark certainly didn't help matters. Earlier in the season, during a regular season game between the Sun and the Fever, Carrington had mocked Clark after the Fever star drew a foul. The moment, which many at the time brushed off as typical competitive banter, now seemed to take on new meaning in light of the eye poke. Could it be that Carrington's actions were motivated by a deeper animosity towards Clark? Adding to the tension were Carrington's previous comments about Indiana Fever fans. In a tweet sent out a few weeks before the playoff game, Carrington had referred to Fever fans as the nastiest in the WNBA. While some saw this as typical trash talk, others, particularly Clark's fans, interpreted it as racially charged, given that many of those same fans are white and are some of Clark's biggest supporters. With all of these factors in play, it's no wonder that the controversy surrounding the eye poke has taken on a life of its own. What initially seemed like a minor incident has spiraled into a full-blown scandal, with accusations of poor sportsmanship, racism, and even assault being thrown around. And through it all, the WNBA has remained silent, leaving fans to wonder what, if any, action will be taken. While the league's lack of response has been frustrating for many, some believe that it's a calculated move. The WNBA has long struggled to achieve profitability, and players like Carrington and Clark are essential to the league's future success. Suspending Carrington during the playoffs could hurt viewership and dampen the excitement of the postseason. On the other hand, not taking any action could alienate a large portion of the league's fan base, particularly those who support Clark. The financial implications of this controversy can't be ignored. The WNBA has only recently begun to gain more attention, thanks in large part to stars like Caitlin Clark. Clark's popularity has brought new fans to the league, and her games consistently draw higher ratings than most other WNBA matchups. She's seen as the face of the future for women's basketball, and her success is crucial to the league's growth. This is why so many fans and analysts are demanding that the WNBA protect its star player. As Jason Whitlock pointed out in his criticism of the league, the WNBA's very relevance is tied to players like Clark. Your biggest star, your meal ticket. The reason why you have relevancy just got stabbed and assaulted and nothing, Whitlock said, emphasizing the importance of the league taking action. If the WNBA fails to protect its stars, it risks losing the newfound attention and momentum it has gained in recent years. But for all the talk about the league's finances and future, at the heart of this controversy is a simple question. Was Carrington's poke to the eye an accident, or was it intentional? And if it was intentional, was it motivated by something deeper, like racial animosity? There's no real definitive answer to these questions, and until Carrington herself speaks out, fans are left to speculate. What is clear, though, is that the relationship between Carrington and Clark is fraught with tension. Whether it's trash talk on the court or jabs on social media, these two players have a history, and that history is now being scrutinized under a microscope. As of now, Carrington continues to play in the playoffs, and the WNBA has yet to issue any statement regarding the incident. But the controversy isn't going away anytime soon. Fans are still demanding answers, and many are calling for a boycott of the WNBA if the league fails to take action. It's a difficult situation for the league. On one hand, suspending Carrington could set a precedent for how similar incidents are handled in the future. On the other hand, taking no action could be seen as a tacit endorsement of her behavior, which could have long-term consequences for the league's reputation. The stakes are high, and the WNBA is running out of time to make a decision. As the playoffs continue, all eyes are on the league's next move. Will they step in and take action, or will they remain silent and let this controversy continue to fester? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The fallout from this incident will have lasting implications, not just for Carrington and Clark, but for the WNBA as a whole. But what do you think? Should Desai Carrington face suspension for her actions? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on this story and more from NBA Swish.